Hello everyone, welcome back to Planet Coaster and welcome back to Summer Heights. A little bit different at the start of this episode because normally we go straight into the time lapse, but for this one I just wanted to show you something that I worked on off camera because I really want to work a bit quicker and get this park done. I mean, this could have been an episode in itself, but I just chose not to record it. It would have been a very short episode anyway. But what I did build here I'm actually really happy with. So you can see now just over the water side here, from the row of facades from the main street of this area, we have this really nice Caribbean sort of beach with some foliage and some tropical rocks and waterfalls. And yeah, I'm just showing this off because I'm quite proud of what I've done here. I'm not normally very good at this sort of stuff, but I think this worked out really well, and it's a good way to block this area in from the area behind it, as we had such limited space to work with. So yeah, that's really all we've done. We've completed the Caribbean area. We've given the flat ride some sort of rock work and fencing around it just to make it look a bit more interesting. And then we've built a cave which you can go through to connect back up to the next area of the park. And yeah, like I say, sorry about that, the camera's going absolutely crazy. Like I say, I think this is a really nice sort of backdrop for the Caribbean area, and it ties it all in perfectly together. So with that all now complete, we can carry on working on different parts of the park because all the themed areas are now in. Oh, I really do apologise about my camera control there, it's not the best. So now we're going to go and work on something different for this episode, and we're just going to finish off the areas of the park that need completing now, and that will be it. So let's get into the time lapse for today's build. Okay, so welcome into the time lapse then, and firstly I must apologise by saying it's taken absolutely ages to upload this video, so I do apologise for that. I've been really busy, I've been away as well this month, and yeah, I decided now it's time to get the commentary done and crack on and try and get this park finished, because we're not far off now. I just don't play the game enough to consistently sort of upload and get things done. So in this one we're building a gift shop and a guest services building, very standard sort of buildings that you'd see in the entrance plaza area of a theme park, and we're doing very generic style buildings to sort of tie in with the entrance building, copy along a similar sort of architecture that we've got there. So we just use some sort of trim pieces there to create a archway door that the guests can walk through, and then we make some custom style windows using various poles and detail pieces. Not using that much TMTK in this one either, mainly just in-game pieces, just because they're the pieces I needed really to build it with, no other reason. This didn't take me too long to build either actually, but I did it in sort of 3 different stages, and the times in between those stages was quite long. It's probably been about 2 months since the last Planet Coaster video has gone up, so it's just one of those things. Just adding some of the sort of classical Victorian style decor here to the front of the building, again tying it in with the entrance plaza and the sort of main street buildings that we've got. Although we haven't really got a main street, it's more sort of just in front of you as you go into the park behind that carousel. Yeah, you can see just to the left of that shot there. So we're trying to tie all the architecture in together at the front of the park. It's a very sort of generic entrance area to this park, because it is quite a small, possibly family-run park that's sort of expanded a bit over the years and got a couple of coasters. This wouldn't be a a major theme park. It wouldn't be like Disney or Universal or anything. Although some of the theming is quite detailed that we've got in the park, but I still wanted to make it believable enough, as believable as it can be in a game. So this park does sort of work to a budget, and although they have some nice theming and rides, You know, it's not a huge park. So here we're making a custom roof spire, just because there wasn't anything really in game that fitted into this space that I needed it to, so we're just putting all the pieces together using the, I'm not sure what pieces they are, just small little wooden sort of pieces that I think are meant to sort of hold overhanging roofs up and stuff like that. I really can't think of what they're called, which is stupid, but they're like a sort of trim piece as well. Then I decided to get rid of these flower pots that stick out into the middle of the, or these planters rather, sorry, that stick out into the middle of the plaza, and just sink them in there to the section below the window of the shop. Then we work on the inside of the shop and build some custom floor tiles. These are very basic. I think they're just using a Victorian or classical style pillar just sunken into the ground there, and some tiles underneath to give it a nice texture. I cheat a bit here and use some workshop gift shop items. Really sorry, I can't remember the creator who made these, but if you just search for gift shop in the Planet Coaster Workshop on Steam, they will come up, and they are really fantastic items that I just did not have the time to sit there and make myself, and I probably wouldn't be able to do that either. I'm not very good at things like that. So we do work on some custom stuff for the interior as well, so make a cash desk there, putting some random photo frames on the wall, just giving it some nice sort of decor inside there as well, so it doesn't look too bland. This was really fiddly because getting them all to sit behind the frames was a challenge, and I didn't really know what I was going for here. I was just using random art shapes to make different sort of patterns, just to make each one look a bit varied. So in real life these would probably be sort of pop art or abstract type paintings on the wall. Then we add some coaster track design into the shelving display unit. And yes, it looks a bit naff, but it's fine, it will do for this build. I'm not too good at building shops and stuff like that in the game, to be honest. It's not my strong point. I'm good at doing the building, the facade, but not really the interior. Excuse me. Sorry. I prefer doing restaurants and stuff like that. So I felt the side bit to the left of the building here needed something just to sort of complete it, so we just add a random sort of tower with a spire onto the side so that it fits in nicely. No other reason for adding this really other than sort of aesthetics. I just felt it looked quite nice, and yeah, that's pretty much this first building complete. Once this spire's in, again, it's very generic, very simple, but I think it works and it fills this space nicely as well. I do stick in a small backstage area behind it as well, which we haven't really added much to yet, but I think that's something I'm going to go back and do when the rest of the park is complete, just add some things to the backstage areas that need doing, and so that will be fine. After this, we've not got an awful lot left to do on the park really. There's a couple of areas that just need filling in and sort of tying up. I'm going to add a new hotel in the next episode. That's the next thing that I'll start working on when I've got the time. Just something that suits the park a bit more than the hotel that we built back a year ago there. So here we're putting in a guest services building, which every park needs. Because we've got that nice little lake or little pond or whatever it is behind the building, I thought we'll keep glass sort of panel walls so that you can see straight through that when you go into the building, and it'll be a nice view. Keep the park looking nice and attractive, because although it is a small family park, they do take good care of this park, as far as I know. So yeah, not really an awful lot to say about this building. I'm not that keen on the actual building style of it, or the architecture itself. It's very, very plain. Not a lot you can really do with sort of glass and brick pieces. I just needed to cover it up basically. but I do add a really cool custom roof onto this one, which I'm really happy with, and it actually has bare Planet Zoo vibes. You'll see what I mean once it's been built, just using the sort of colour and texture that comes with the generic classical sort of pieces in the Planet Zoo. So we'll see that in a minute. I do have a PS4 now, and I have been sort of looking at the cost and stuff of Planet Coaster Console Edition, but thinking about it, I probably am not going to bother getting it, because, you know, I've already got the game on PC. I'm used to playing it on PC. It would take me 10 times longer to build stuff on console, and as much as I like sort of chatting to some of the people in the console community who are really fantastic builders as well, I don't think that I can sit there and build a theme park or even a coaster with my thumbs without getting too agitated, when I know I can just do it with the mouse. Plus the cost of getting the game and all the DLCs, again, when I've already got them on PC. So yeah, I think I'm going to sit that one out, I'm afraid, but I do like to see some of the console edition content on YouTube as well. I think there's some really great stuff that people are making, and there's probably more creators now playing that because it's a newer release, I guess, although there still is quite a good community from what I can tell from for Planet Coaster on PC. Unfortunately, I just don't have that much time for, you know, Discord and sort of joining in with the community and everything else like that. Barely have time to play at all at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, looking forward, hopefully we can try and get this park completed. The goal was going to be for like this summer, but it'll probably be by the end of the year now, the sort of speed things are going at. And I've had an idea for like well over a year now. Probably had an idea for about a year and a half of what I want to do for another park. But I have to get, like, from a completionist point of view, this one has to be done first. And this is probably, it's getting towards my least favourite part of a build now, where you have to fill in all the little gaps and all the details at the end, because it's just something that I really can't be bothered doing. But it's not fair on the park just to leave it sort of unfinished, so we are going to make sure everything's done. And I'm looking forward to building another hotel as well. I think we can do something really cool with that as well. So there you can see the Planet Zoo roof going in. When I change the direction of the sun, or the time rather, it actually looks really nice. You'll probably see that in just a minute. So all that's left really here to do is detail the inside of this building. I keep it very, very simple, just some lockers and a desk. In real life there would be more here, like pushchairs and wheelchairs and things like that. But I'm just going to keep it, sorry, excuse me, just for the sake of gameplay, I'm just going to keep it very, very simple. And we can call this a completed guest services building. And that's pretty much the entrance plaza for the park finished and completed now. So there really isn't that much work left to do on the park. So I will see you all in the next episode. I'll let you enjoy the rest of this time lapse in peace. And I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.